All right, today we're going to take a journey, a deep dive back in time into the Arabian Peninsula, and we're looking for secrets. Not the kind buried under sand, but secrets carved right into the rock. A whole story of a vibrant, literate world that was thriving long before Islam.
So, when you picture ancient Arabia, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For a lot of us, it's probably this image of a huge, empty, silent desert. The empty quarter, right? But was it really silent? I mean, what did this place actually sound like thousands of years ago? We have this tendency to think of history as a nice, neat, straight line. One people, one language, all leading directly to the Arabic we know today. But the story that's literally etched in stone, it's not a straight line at all. It's more like this sprawling, tangled map of so many different voices.
So, if it wasn't just one single language, what did that more complex story actually sound like? Well, it turns out it was less of a monologue and way more like a symphony.
Yeah, it wasn't just one voice, it was a whole chorus. Down in the south, in what's now Yemen, you had Sabaean. This was the powerhouse language of the kingdoms of Saba and Himyar. Then, along all those vital trade routes, you would have heard Katabanian and Minaean. And then scattered all across the north, you had people speaking Thamudic, and over in the absolutely stunning Al-Ula region, there was Lihyanite. It was a true tapestry of totally distinct languages.
But how on earth could we possibly know any of this? Well, it's because these ancient people left us clues. They left us their stories, their laws, even just their names. And they didn't write them in fragile books. Nope. They meticulously carved them into the one thing they knew would survive for ages: stone.
The key that unlocks this entire lost world is a script called Musnad. And it's beautiful. Its sharp, angular style is just unmistakable. This was the elegant writing system that gave a physical shape to so many of these ancient voices.
And what's so cool is that these stone carvings show us exactly what these people were thinking about. In the south, you find these official kingdom records from Sabaean temples. This is the language of power, of law. But as you travel north, the inscriptions get incredibly personal. You find Thamudic carvings left by travelers. It's almost like ancient graffiti, just people carving their names to say, hey, I was here. And in Al-Ula, Li'anai texts tell us all about temple offerings and rituals. So this isn't just writing. It's a real window into their politics, their religion, and their everyday lives.
So this all brings up a really big question, right? If there was this incredible variety of languages, why do we now think of the entire region as having just one form of Arabic? What happened to all those other voices? Well, the shift didn't happen overnight. It was gradual, and it happened in a few key steps. First, one particular dialect, the Northern Arabic, spoken by the Qurayshi tribe in Mecca, started spreading like wildfire along the trade routes. Pretty soon, it became the prestige language, the one you used for the best poetry and in the biggest markets. And then, the final step. The revelation of the Quran codified this dialect, cementing it as classical Arabic. It became the new universal language of the region. And slowly, the other ancient languages and their beautiful Musnad script, they just faded away.
But here's the thing about languages. They don't just vanish without a trace. Even while the voices themselves fell silent, their legacy was literally written in stone. And those inscriptions have stuck around as these enduring witnesses to a whole forgotten history.
So this is the really crucial point. We have to completely update that mental image we started with. The whole idea of a silent, empty desert, it couldn't be more wrong. This was a bustling, literate landscape, absolutely filled with distinct civilizations that clearly had a whole lot to say.
These inscriptions are so much more than just ancient carvings. They are the proof. They're a living witness that the Arabs had a long, rich history of writing and of thought, long before Islam ever came onto the scene.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? I mean, if a supposedly silent desert was actually buzzing with all these different voices, what other silent histories are out there, carved in stone, just waiting for us to finally learn how to listen?